everyone. Welcome to Pure Lagos and our African philosophy and Igbo class. Please continue joining us every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30, where we'll discuss some really pertinent topics affecting us today that relate back to traditional Igbo philosophy. We're joined tonight by our master teacher, Joseph Chike Nwagbogu, and I'm Sia Alexander. And in the background, you can see our shop, Pure Lagos, here in Norfolk, Virginia.
I want to go back to an earlier topic quickly about untutu. Akpachamisi, I cut my hair. Untutum agbadago, my hair has been reduced. I hope you like the new look me, because I certainly do.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is community and how to, first of all, the definition of community in an Igbo context, and how to build community in our current global society on a local level and also on a global level. How do we practice Nokodo, coming together and being together in a way that enhances us, inspires us, makes us happy. And so let's start with that topic, community.
Udo.
Udo.
It's Noko Udo. I know Udo. So it's a continuation of some of these ideas, The idea of community is Obodo. That's a bigger community. That's a nation, a people, But Udo, the peace, all these concepts are intertwined within the Igbo idea of community, a commune. Udo.
Noko Udo.
Yeah, thank you. You got it perfectly.
What am I saying? Let us be together in community?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really great. That's just, it basically encapsulates that idea of a communal, peaceful, homely environment where everybody is connected, everybody is Nokodo, you're all related. So it would be hard to harm anybody physically or with words from your community that is part of you. So if we were to see the local community expand and become the entire community, it becomes Obodo.
Obodo.
Obodo. Yes, Obodo. I'm just trying to, because it's speeded up to Obodo, but Obodo. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's basically saying be together and then all be together.
Thank you.
Nokodo.
Yeah.
Obodo.
Yeah. Udo. So the foundation of all these, or the root of all this, is Udo, which also means peace,
I see.
grace, harmony,
Yeah.
So all these concepts are intertwined in the Igbo idea of community. Because once Udo de, once there is peace and there's oneness and there's harmony, you're not going to hear a raised voice, let alone a blow or an act of violence that would then, basically
destroy the community.
Thank you. I'm looking for the words to,
Yeah, because Western...
sorry. Not the community can't be destroyed or soil the community, or so that needs to be then rebuilt. Because you can never, the Igbo man does not believe in any kind of destruction.
Welcome.
Patrick, from Senegal.
Sierra Leone.
Sorry, my apologies.
Close enough.
Sierra Leone, one people. Your beautiful Bokola jacket, and I know you made. This is
Hi, I'm Sia.
Sia.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Do you want to join us?
Yeah, come
Okay,
join
just pull up a chair right here. You can just, yeah. Great, so we have someone
brother
who's
from
joining
Sierra
us
Leone.
from Sierra Leone. How about right here, please? And we were just talking about community, so it's perfect.
That's fine.
Yeah, just squeeze in here so you can. Do you mind being on camera? Okay, great. So, what's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick. Okay, so we're just here on Instagram Live,
Okay.
where we share with all our followers what we're talking about. Yeah. And tonight we're talking about community and how to build community and what community means in Igbo. So Joseph just kind of went through an explanation of the word Udo, which means peace and harmony and community in Igbo. And Noko Udo or Nokodo is a way of saying let's come together in peace, or let's come together in community. And then Obodo or Obo Udo is on a larger scale, like globally or outside of the immediate intimacy, having a big coming together. So that's basically what we've covered so far. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what community, how you would say community in your language, if you know.
So Sierra Leone, can I speak louder? Okay. So I was born in Freetown, and just like the name says, it's a cosmopolitan of many different African members from the diaspora and the continent. So we speak Creole. So our language is basically pieces of English and Portuguese and tribal languages. So we would say community, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, community in Creole is community.
I see.
But there's definitely like slangs and like traditional languages like Tigni or Madingo or Mende. They would probably say it differently, but I don't know those.
Do you feel that?
Sorry, I was just going to say, just from what you're saying, Patrick, my brother, the way you said it made me understand the English is very similar to the Igbo because come in unity, community. So it suggests that coming together as one. Because you talked about the Creole, the local languages, and the English merging to create one tongue that people can communicate with. And that is another great, idea of community.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you mentioned that because, to be honest, I've never thought of the word community in that, sense of bringing two words together, come in unity.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. And that really touches upon where I want to go with this discussion today. Because what I want to know is how we can come together in unity, how we can make communities more palatable for humans, where you feel comfort, you feel at ease, you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel connected to the other people around you, you feel connected to the land, to nature, and it's not just about closing your door, going in your place, hiding out from everybody else, jumping in your car in the morning, driving somewhere, with no connection to the journey, going into a building, staying in that building all day, maybe driving to another building, picking up your food, but not having any connection to the people around you, the land, your soul. Yeah. So what I was gonna ask Patrick is, even though in Sierra Leone, community, from what you know, is just community, do you feel like it's different from how it's viewed here? Is there a different sense of community there than what you've seen here?
If you're saying like in the Western, like American standpoint, definitely. So in Sierra Leone community is definitely like I know coming here when you say cousin or auntie or whatever, it's like a very it's kind of like a rigid family structure. Like this is my cousin and this is not my family. But in Sierra Leone, and also grew up in Nairobi. But even just going to other parts of Africa, everyone is kind of the community is everyone around you. It's everything outside of yourself is part of the community, including from nature to people and like animals and things like that. So.
Yeah.
Very much the same from where my own local community, Onitsha. I have so many cousins that are not necessarily blood related. The community is one, you know, like you said, even the livestock are part of the community. You know, the vegetation is part of your community. So it's a wonderful thing, but the thing I've noticed about the difference between that concept of community and Western concepts is the sense of individualism. You know, the person is meant to, you know, it's my way or the highway, or I'm going to, you know, that sense of me, myself, and I, that it kills the empathy, that acceptance of others. Greetings in the morning. You know, at home we can spend 3 or 4 minutes just exchanging greetings with one person. You're going to ask, how are you? How is your family? How are your children? Kedu? You're going to, you know, basically going to ask about the total well-being of that person, because he is not just the person you're thinking about, or she's not just the person you're thinking about. Their entire family, their entire community that you know.
I see. So you can't just say Kedu to one person.
Oh,
you have to say it, right, to other people.
Yeah, it's an outreach.
So you would say Kedu, and then, which is, how are you? How's your person?
Yeah.
And then, how's your wife?
Yes.
Kedu ene.
Yes.
And then, how are your children?
Yeah.
Kedu.
Umwaka.
Kedu Omoaka.
Those who you carry in the heart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and the reply would be truthful. You know, how's your mother? Are they doing well? You know, it's caring.
So just greeting builds community.
Thank you.
First of all,
that's
from
the
the
first
start.
step.
Just connecting with people in a real way.
In a real way, not just hi, bye.
Yeah, with
it's no feeling,
connection, no aspiration to really know how you're doing.
You're just basically fulfilling righteousness, being polite,
right?
You know,
right,
as opposed to being caring.
Right. So what are some of the greetings that you grew up with?
So Kushe is like hello.
That's Yoruba.
Yeah.
So you have connections with Nigeria, or is it the same greeting in Sierra Leone?
So Kushe is the Creole within.
See the connections.
Yeah.
Kushe, you know, because
Kushe is Yoruba for.
Kushe, well done. No, that's an everyday greeting you hear in Lagos, in Western Nigeria. Kushe, well done. It's a greeting. It's Kushe, well done. Kushe, because if you're on the move, you say Kushe. You know, it's
like have a good day or have a good one.
Yeah, no, it's not have a good day. Well, it is like have a good day. Keep on having a good day. Keep on keeping on. I can see you're doing good. Right on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, interestingly, in the Black community in America, we still have that, and where we greet each other, my brother, my sister, even if you don't know the person, you're not related to them. They're still your brother, your sister.
That warmth is there.
Yeah.
And even just riding my bicycle through Norfolk, when I see a brother or sister, we exchange greetings. You know, it's hello, bro. How you doing, brother? How you doing, sister? That sense of community is still there, even having been separated for many hundreds of years. We still have that bond that keeps us connected.
Right.
You know, even if the language is a universal language, not one that is, you know, particularly outside of our, scope. It's still very, very warm, the greeting that we share. You know.
I want to ask you about your jacket, to have a bit of a diversion, because it's so beautiful and it's standing out. Yeah. Did you make it?
Yeah, I did. Joseph and I were talking earlier. It's part of my brand. I started a brand kind of along the lines of what we're talking about today, community, trying to build a community. I grew up in Sierra Leone, but also grew up in the United States. And to see the division between African and diaspora, but also I'm an environmental engineer, and just notice how like the intersection with environmental issues and that with the actual social issues within our communities
Right.
kind of met at the same place. So I figured this was the best way to kind of reach my community, to get behind something that I think it's just kind of in a different way that just I guess my own interpretation of
Right.
how I could bring the community together.
Is that Kuba cloth or
Mudcloth.
mudcloth? Okay.
Yeah. So a big piece of
Beautiful.
what we do is we try to educate. We're connecting history, culture, fashion. So when we talk about mudcloth, we'll talk about Mali, talk about the empire of Mali, we'll talk about sustainability and how mudcloth is made.
Right.
Like how specific it is to that part of the world because the mud and the sun, where it hits the center, it's one of the hottest places on earth. That's why it's actually one of the only places we make authentic mudcloth.
Right.
And then we also touch on historic figures like Musa from Mali and just kind of talk about his cultural and
Impact on the
impact
world.
on the world and how so it's kind of like a way of knowledge itself. If we understand the value of Mansa Musa being the richest person that ever lived on earth, then you understand the value of mudcloth that comes from the Mali Empire. It's the richest fabric from the richest place on earth. And then we're from that, just the same way we're from the mud. I think it just kind of all ties in.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
so beautiful is what this means in Timni. So Timni is a tribe in Sierra Leone.
Timmy.
Timni.
Timmy is a tribe in Sierra Leone, and this means beautiful, and it's so beautiful. It's, how do you say that? Fino?
Fino. So the full
Fino.
words are Fino.
Or Fino?
Yeah, Fino. But just make sure that
Wow.
and the X is for the diaspora, like Malcolm X. It's a beautiful first name, beautiful last name.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, I'm so glad I asked him about that because I thought I was making a diversion, but actually what he said ties completely into what we're talking about. He mentioned how the environment affects the social climate, affects community.
Sure.
If the environment, for instance, a lot of black folks in America, for instance, because we can talk about black folks everywhere, but are living in communities that don't have any trees. There's concrete everywhere. There are no parks. There's no sidewalks. There are no markets, to places you can get healthy food. That kind of thing tears down Udo. It inhibits Nokodo. And then you can't even think
Build
about
an
connecting
Obodo.
globally
No
because you
Bodo.
don't have any,
Yeah, you got
So,
it.
and he's an environmental engineer. Is that the kind of thing you work on? Building parks and not really?
So I work more with like the chemical side, so like preventing chemical accidents.
Oh, I
places
see.
and things like that. But
Yeah.
That's definitely part of why I started this, was just a way to actually impact that problem, environmental injustice, directly.
Right.
And like everything you said is true. And it definitely connects to the community aspect of understanding our connection with nature that helps us understand. Like, I think one of the biggest things for me was understanding the impact of close environmental relationships with the Haitian Revolution and how they were able to use botany and their understanding of the land, even from slavery, from being able to read moss on trees to be able to figure out the directions going north.
Right.
So it's like if you stop that creating concrete jungles and keep kids from the ability to get in touch with nature and understand their power through nature and how they're connected to that, then you stop their power essentially completely.
Yeah. So how do we build community today? What are some of the practical ways that we can build
Well,
community.
you said it already, because in facing the way that communities have been teared down, we can retrace our steps and build them back up. Because in as much as one wrong step leads to another, for example, the concrete jungles, the lack of trees, the lack of udo, the lack of nokodo leads to lack of obodo. We can go back to that level through the principles of Kwanzaa, for example, working together, trading together, patronizing each other, finding our ways to nokodo,
Right.
finding our ways to bikodo, and live together and exchange ideas together.
Right, so it's almost like we have to manage the situation. We have to
Yeah.
make the best of it.
Yeah.
And just joining up with like other folks making beautiful, creative, traditional, inspired clothing is a way to build
Absolutely.
Nokodo.
Absolutely. I think it's no coincidence that Patrick he came in this evening. He said he's going to come for this. Like, he actually found us. I think it's no coincidence that on this particular topic that we've chosen, community, he comes in
Yeah.
as part of this whole idea to build community. So I think it would be a great idea to have this as an experiment to how we, make links with his brand, with the brand that we're trying to build, and then the tentacles of that will extend through whatever connections you have
Right.
elsewhere, or become something of an outlet for many people who have such beautiful ideas. It's no coincidence that we, on our recent trip to New York, we stumbled on a shop that had was selling mud cloth.
And I said, where can we get some, Chai?
Yeah, it's just a wet cloth. The man
Yeah.
was not going to help us. He said it was from California or something.
Yeah.
Like he said it's from somewhere in Africa, but he had no clue. And then just miraculously, you walk in, beautiful mud cloth,
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
And it would be
And
wonderful.
it's practical
Yeah.
because he's made it into something you can wear.
Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And made
Yeah.
himself.
What's the name of your brand?
Funerals.
Finor X, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have a following on Instagram.
Yeah.
What is your
It's at FenorX. The website is www.fenorx.com.
Finor Finorx. Yeah. And if there anybody is anybody out there who makes stuff, who has creative ideas, please come into Pure Lagos. We're downtown Norfolk. We'd love to Nokodo with you
yes?
and build community.
That's the whole idea. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I want to segue into something a little more complex.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about mismanagement of the global community
Okay.
and the way it makes it so difficult for us, for all people, for human beings to prosper, to thrive. When we were away this weekend, we noticed how the structures, the systems that are in place make it almost impossible for one to be free, to just, move from state to state without being harassed, to engage institutions without bureaucratic encumbrances. I mean, how? First of all, I want to talk about Igbo traditional societies and communities, and how, and maybe you can just tell me some words or some concepts of how to make systems that support human evolution or human caressing, to make us more godly as opposed to make us more base. The way you're harassed at the airport, it makes you base. It doesn't make you,
Open up.
yeah. The way you're, the school systems, the medical systems, the way you're treated, the way that things are structured, don't give you an opportunity to rise. They actually make you more boxed in to a very limited ego-oriented, outlook. So just please, if you have any guidance from an Igbo perspective of,
It takes me back to the same concept of Udo, a normal greeting, Udo de, there is peace, Udo de, there is peace. In contrast to that here,
there's war.
There's war, there's fear, there's
war against
unease,
everybody and everything.
there is harassment. So the society is built on fear. Fear generates gun sales. Fear generates all sorts of different capitalist tendencies that make you, individual, make you aggressive, make you, greedy. That fear of the other is what basically these societies, a lot of Western society philosophy is built on. It's completely opposite to metanoia. On the one hand, you have metanoia. On the other hand, you have paranoia. So these ideas are at war, literally, with each other. And from just our experience in New York, it was clear that there was an attack. Something that's sacred to a human being is the head, the crown. You want to unmask that for your own purposes. So the idea is to spread love as opposed to fear.
So what's love in Igbo?
Love, the concept of love.
Afunginaya.
It's afunginaya. I see you in my eye. My eye sees your eye. My eye sees your spirit. Afunginaya. I see your being. I see you. You're visible to me.
What's love in to me?
Probably heard of it 1,000 times from my family. I just can't think of it right now.
You think of it, just interject. Yeah.
So that concept is very important.
So would you say Igbo community philosophy is built on love?
Yes.
And not fear?
Absolutely. And to put it into one word, Udo is like a deep love, but it's not the love that you'd communicate to individual. The Udodi, it's communal love. So it encapsulates the entire community, the nation, and the world. So that sense of Udo, it's a higher love. It's a divine kind of peace, harmony, deeper than the Western concept of love.
So that's what we're missing then.
Yeah.
That's why you can't move around freely as a caressing human being, a human being moving towards the divine in this context, because there's no love.
There's no love. As a matter of fact, it's not even encouraged. It's discouraged. It's the opposite is the case. If you turn on your television, if you're not watching Freddy, you're watching Nightmare on Elm Street, it's The Exorcist, it's I was just flicking channels earlier on. It's what is there to watch? It's every single channel. It's an attack on your sensibilities, whoever you are.
So why is there no Udo in our Western-dominated global system?
Well,
where did it go? Was it ever there? How do we get it?
Absolutely, it was there. But a nation, a system that's built on slavery, colonialism, might is right, misogyny, fear,
the disrespect of nature,
capitalism.
It kills love. It destroys
love. It destroys
love.
the soul. It destroys anything that is warm that human beings share. So when you have that kind of nation, it doesn't seem to have a...
But it's a world phenomenon.
Well,
where do we go in the world where there's love as a basic, foundational...
The world needs a general, universal metanoia. going inside to come out with that pure human love, that change of a reset. Because right now, what we're seeing in the world today is the very opposite of these beautiful ideals, and it's making nations rich, so they don't want to change. You know, they're not encouraged to change.
Well, we did see some glimpses of hope, though.
There's always hope.
Yeah, I
And
mean, we
faith.
had a lot of fun cycling around. Perhaps bicycles is a solution.
What's
How
your
about
favorite
that?
city that you visited recently? Amsterdam. It was full of bicycles. It's full of a lot of love. It's full of a lot of community. Because just that polluting the environment with carbon monoxide from cars, it kills that. You know, it first attacks the environment, attacks the nature, and kills trees. It's basically doing all.
Well, Nigeria isn't it the biggest oil producer?
One of the biggest oil producers in Africa. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's,
that oil fuels cars,
Yeah,
and it
fuels
also
cars.
fuels the economy.
and Nigeria is still flaring natural gas. So their refineries are still spewing toxic gases into the environment because the oil companies want quick profits. They don't want to go through the process of basically, you know, doing it the right way. So
bicycles actually a revolutionary act,
simple things like
because
bicycling.
not only do you build community on a local level,
Yes.
but you build community on a global level because
Absolutely.
you free indigenous people from the corruption of oil
The oil
exploitation.
industry. Yeah.
Because if you don't have a demand for oil,
Yeah.
you lose money, and you have to figure something else out. Big corporations have to figure out another plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, bicycles. How are bicycles in Sierra Leone? Do you guys use bicycles?
Yeah,
Get around.
definitely. I mean, I think even having a car, even though there are a lot of cars on the road and traffic can get really crazy, people use other methods, whether it's public transport, so it's a lot of people on maybe like a bus or this thing called keke.
Keke?
Yeah,
It's just
keke too.
Keke is the same.
Yeah, and so it's like shared rides, or bicycling, or people just walk.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So that was what I wanted to talk about. Those are my two main points. Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to go quickly and talk about to revisit some of our old topics like counting from 1 to 10 in Igbo. If people still remember that. Do you still remember that?
Ofu, Obuo, Ato, Anu, Ese, Esiro, Esa, Esato, Etanani,
Ili.
Ili. Oh, just Ili.
Yeah.
1 to 10. Do
Sound
you know
familiar to
any?
you?
I mean, to me. Hey, how y'all doing?
I think 1, 2, 3 in Timby is Pim, Balloon, Massas. So it's
Team Peru, Masa, 1, 2, 3 in Timi,
Okay.
in Sierra Leone.
For those who didn't hear, I'll just repeat it again. Ofu, Abo, Ato, Ano, Ise, Isi, Isa, Isato, Itenani, Ili. That's 1 to 10. So, foundationally, it's very simple. It's an extension. So once you get to Ilinofu, that's 11. Ilini Bo, Ilini To, and so on.
Oh, I see. Wow.
So like I say, practice makes perfect. So once we keep practicing, I'm sure we'll get on right, just right.
Excellent.
Okay. So what else are we going to discuss today?
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to have something for us.
Well, I can only think about the wonderful. Do you have a Sierra Leonean name, Patrick?
So I guess that's part of like our heritage too. Is just the Freetown with colonialism. My father's name is Patrick. Also, my grandfather's name is Augustus. But my middle name, so my mom's side is from Senegal. So whenever people tell me I'm from Senegal, I kind of just accept it because it's the Madingo features and the Fulani features.
Yes.
And then my dad's family's from Nigeria, so the Yoruba side.
Okay.
So my middle names are Ose from the Benin Kingdom.
Ose.
Ose. And then my Muslim name from Senegal is Zainu, like Zainab. So it's like the kind of version of that. So Patrick Beckley is my legal first.
My father's also called Patrick, and my older brother's Patrick, so I'm very familiar with that.
What are the origins of Patrick? How did that get in Africa?
Well, it's an Irish name.
Oh.
It's an Irish name. Irish Catholic name. St. Patrick's Day.
I see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But my father's real name is Mubiora, which is a beautiful name.
Is that the one who speaks the truth?
No, that was just a name he got from people knowing him.
Onye Iziohu.
He who speaks truth. It's not a name. It's more like a title. Not even a title. It's an identity. You know, a knowing, because it's just very. I rarely haven't heard it before. Onye Iziohu, the truthful one.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So how did you guys get started doing these lessons in Igbo and also just promoting the culture in this fashion?
Good question. I think it came naturally.
It's organic.
One thing just led to the other. From having the store, we felt the need to project more of that essence, just because a lot of people who come through may not actually buy anything, but just the idea that they're going away with something or can reach more people through language and through activities was just an additional slant to the success of the shop, or to the ideals we had in the shop. And see it just took it to another level by technology and reaching people. I think it's had quite a good response.
Yeah, and also he was teaching me Igbo, and it was just so compelling to feel a connection to the language, even though I'm not Igbo, I'm African American. So a natural outgrowth of feeling that kind of connection personally was that I wanted to have other people feel that, because I have a sense that African Americans possess some kind of DNA connection to West African languages and food and culture, like it's in us.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm not learning it for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're reminding me of things that I used to know.
That's
So that made me want to share it.
It's so funny you should say this. A lady came into the shop yesterday, and she said she had bought a head wrap from you a few months ago, and she didn't know how to tie it. But one day she just said, I'm just going to do it, and she just did it, and she saw what she did, and somehow she got it right. She said, oh, I'm going to leave it, it looks great. She went out, she got so many compliments of how well she did it. Can she think how, can she come and help others do theirs? So it was just a wonderful feeling. It's in our DNA, something that never lost. Just remembering, it's a wonderful thing. And it's like I said, one thing leads to another.
How do you say Thai head wrap again?
Ike Ichafu.
Ike Ichafu.
A lot of creative words are ka. So Ike Ichafu being the head tie.
Do women wear head tie in Sierra Leone?
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely West African culture is pretty much shared from Senegal all the way to Nigeria. We all kind of do a lot of the same things.
Right.
And I hear Sierra Leonean food is beautiful.
I was just gonna say
food
that.
or-
I was gonna say, do you all have jollof
Jollof
rice?
rice, yeah.
Yeah. There was a competition this year at Sierra Leone went #1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Jollof rice.
it's gonna
Wow.
slide that in.
No, but I think nothing beats Nigerian jollof rice when made properly.
We're not
Well,
gonna
I think
have this
Senegalese
debate.
is better. Senegalese
Yeah.
has the best jollof rice.
Well, that's for your taste buds.
It's like the rice they use, the grains they use. It's like hand picked. Whereas in Niger, Niger just uses rice from China. That's like the rejects from China.
They have a fada jollof
Yeah,
rice.
but they
Have you
never
tried
make
ofada
ofada
jollof
jollof
rice?
rice. It's rare.
Ofada, the local rice that is made jollof. It's actually
What do you
Wolof.
all think? What's the best jollof rice? Is it Nigeria,
Ghanaian.
Sierra Leone, or Senegal, or Ghana?
Mali
Please.
has jollof rice, don't they?
Yeah.
Put in your vote.
I think we all do, honestly. I think it's just more so your preference.
Yeah.
What you like more.
But it started in Senegal, Jollof, Wolof.
Wolof.
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea, these nations, Senegal, Mali, Nigeria, Ghana, they're not more than 200 years old.
Yeah.
We were one people, so we had shared ideas, shared foods. You know, the borders separated us.
It's arbitrary then.
Yeah, it's basically just
Kind of.
it's again, it has more to do with the communities and the vegetables and the food, the ingredients that are local that makes the difference in the preparation as opposed to the nations. Because when you're talking about nations, we're the one people. So beautiful timing, by the way.
Yeah. Should we stop it or just wait until he gets down? We can't do that because it's live.
It's live, I see. Okay, so precious the holy.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us. We are here on Tuesdays from 7 to 8-ish, and we love having you, and we love having our guests tonight.
Thank you, Patrick.
Please check out his brand,
Can you
Finor,
get closer?
Finor, and his mud cloth creations.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
beautiful. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll
Kat.
see you next time.
Kachifo.
Hachiko, light will come with the morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Peace. Great.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for
thanks so
having me.
much.